going to be very pushed to get out and keep his place in front of Senna. Tracy's now going quickly on his fresh rubber. He's in fifth. And we await Mansell's stop at the end of this lap, we expect.
And I'm watching now because Mansell is going through. There he is. You can see him going through at the end of his 30th lap into lap 31. And he will be leading Alain Prost by some 18 seconds. And it's going to be crucial when the Englishman comes in. The race order now then on lap 31. Mansell leading Prost. Alesi is in third position. And of course Ayrton Senna is in fourth place. Patrese fifth, Piquet sixth.
Yes, and that's what I feared. Mansell is staying out too long because Prost, a blistering new fastest lap on fresh rubber, and he's making time on the circuit. And Mansell, because of staying out, may well not be able, no matter how quick the tyre stop, as we see Alesi in for his tyre stop in the Ferrari, but he's going to lose his place to Senna, I'm sure, so he'll stay behind Senna on the road. As the Williams team looking a little bit panicky, waiting for Mansell, but I'm afraid they have blown it, or Mansell has blown it. If Prost continues this pace on a clear road, he's going to reduce that gap. They've only got 17 seconds as they cross the line then on Prost, and that's not enough to decelerate and accelerate as well as changing four wheels and tyres, or it's very, very tight.
Coming up to half distance, and there is the race order in the caption. And Senna and McLaren, who won in Phoenix, Brazil, San Marino and Monaco. Then we had Piquet winning in the Benetton in Canada. Patrese winning in the Williams Renault. And into the pits now comes Nigel Mansell. And I'm going to watch very carefully to see what the gap is as Alain Prost approaches in second place. In fact, Alain Prost goes through. He leads. And Alain Prost re-leads the French Grand Prix as Nigel Mansell rejoins after 10.5 seconds.
Well, that was poor tactics by Mansell and the Williams team. He really should have followed Prost in and not more than 2 laps later, and preferably the very next lap, because on fresh rubber you pull in time pretty quickly on the car that you're chasing, and that cost them the lead, or cost them any chance of the lead, to be fair. There was no guarantee if they'd stopped the very next lap they would have it, but that way they guaranteed that they couldn't re-emerge in the lead. However, from our point of view, that's no bad thing, because if Mansell puts on one of his charges, it means we've got an exciting race ahead of us. Mansell will give you the gap at the end of this lap, but he's got quite a few seconds on Prost he's going to have to make up before he can get stuck into the battle. We'll have to see how he settles on his fresh rubber. Prost was not so quick on the last lap, but that may have been traffic. We were a bit busy watching Mansell. Time?
And this is lap 32 in this 72-lap race, with Alain Prost having retaken the lead as a result of that tyre stop. Ayrton Senna back into third place ahead of Jean Alesi as a result of his tremendously quick tyre stop. Alesi fourth, Riccardo Patrese is in fifth place, and the people who have changed tyres are, of course, Patrese, Senna, Prost, Alesi and Nigel Mansell as the Williams goes through, and the gap is 5.3 seconds between race leader, there he is, Alain Prost on his 33rd lap out of 72. So another 39 laps still to go, and this is where Prost can be caught again by Nigel Mansell because he's back in the traffic. Watch it.
He certainly is. He's got a huge gaggle in front of him, and if they're all busy with each other battling away, that's going to be a problem for Prost. They certainly don't seem to be helping him. Mansell should be really hunting him down now.
Eric Bernard, the Frenchman, waves his countrymen through. Eric Bernard in the Larousse Lola. They've had money problems, but as a result of a special legal arrangement, they have been partly resolved, and they're going to continue in racing definitely for the rest of this season. So Alain Prost scything his way through the traffic, but all the time Nigel Mansell gaining on him. And we'll be able to see. Now, there is Moreno. Behind him is Martini. Then that is Suzuki, who is about to be caught by Alain Prost. And what a line of traffic. And in the background, behind the Jordan Ford, you saw Nigel Mansell Mansell, who is now 3.5 seconds behind Alain Prost, the race leader, coming up behind the Lola now.
Yes, and I'd back Mansell to be much more effective in this sort of heavy traffic than Alain Prost. He's more forceful and he's more prepared to take his car offline and attack. As we see him going in the background now, he saw Mansell ducking out.
And it looked to me as though Aguri Suzuki in the LaRousse Lola was dropping out of the race. That's Martini, who has got Alain Prost tucked up behind him, and Pierluigi Martini is in 9th position. So Prost now has lapped everybody up to 8th position, and in that 8th place is Roberto Moreno in the Benetton Ford. Now, you should see the yellow car. There it is. Now, there is Prost. He's catching Roberto Moreno, who is in 8th position. In front of Moreno is Maurizio Gugelmin in the Leighton House 7th. Piquet is 6th. Patrese is in 5th place, 7 seconds behind Jean Alesi in 4th place. Senna still 3rd, 24 seconds behind Mansell, who is 3.5 seconds behind Prost, completing his 34th lap now.
Yes, and I have to say that the tyre change and Mansell in the traffic has pulled up about a second on Prost, just under 2.5 seconds, the gap. But of course, it's not really about the time gap on the circuit at the moment. It's about the traffic that they're amongst and who can emerge best. And the time gap will only matter when they're both out of it, as Prost sneaks through. And Prost now has the clear circuit. And that was Moreno who let him go, quite rightly, and Mansell. And now Mansell has to start worrying, because he has got 1, 2, 3, something like 3, 4 cars to pass before he can start chasing Alain Prost, and Prost has a clear bit of track ahead of him. I tell you, Mansell's really made up ground. Just got a glimpse of him in the background there. And, somebody's hit the wall very hard indeed.
For somebody being Mark Blundell, who joins his teammate Martin Brundle. Both the Brabhams out, and that's very, very bad news for Brabham. They desperately needed at least a 7th place here in France, or Silverstone at the British Grand Prix next weekend, to avoid the dreaded pre-qualification. Well, they're clearly not going to get that 7th place at the moment. And now Alain Prost closes on Thierry Boutsen, the Frenchman in the Ligier Lamborghini, who is in 17th position to lap the Belgian driver Thierry Boutsen. He's already been lapped twice, so this will be the 3rd time that the Ferrari's gone past him. And Mansell, meanwhile, is right up with the V12 in front of him now. V10 Renault chases V12 Ferrari, the Renault in the Williams chassis and the Ferrari in a chassis of the same make. Nigel Mansell, who so very nearly won the Canadian Grand Prix, getting down to the last corner before rolling into retirement, having finished in 2nd place in Monaco and Mexico. He's bidding for victory in France. Boutsen is lapped for the 3rd time by Prost, now by Nigel Mansell. And still Ayrton Senna is soldiering on, no other way to describe it, looking for those 4 points for 3rd position, ahead of Jean Alesi, who can do nothing about the McLaren in front of him. You're looking at the Ferrari now of Alain Prost from the cockpit of Nigel Mansell's Williams Renault.
And here we have, oh dear, that's a very seriously deflated, well, punctured rear
of JJ Leto, the Finnish driver. It's a bad race meeting for the Dallara team, because Emanuele Pirro failed to pre-qualify.
I get the impression that with the rubber going down, that the circuit is starting to return now in its conditions to yesterday's form, because we've got now Senna and Alesi are starting to make progress in terms of their lap times. They're now lapping nearly as quickly as Prost and Mansell out front, and in the early part of the race they were quite unable to do that. Patrese, conversely, is making no progress really in 5th place. and has been, in fact, losing ground to Senna and Alesi.
And Alain Prost has just lapped Eric Comas there in the blue Ligier with its V12 Lamborghini engine. Comas is in 13th position. And Mansell gives a wave, and not a very happy wave, to Comas as he goes past him. And Alain Prost goes past Stefano Modena in the Tyrrell, who is in 12th position, and Nigel Mansell's got to catch the Italian and get past him as Prost comes up to complete very shortly his 48th lap out of 72. Looking now at Modena's Tyrrell Honda with a V10 engine, unlike the V12 of Ayrton Senna and Gerhard Berger, who started this race but was the first to retire on lap 8. And now this is Nigel Mansell going past, and he